I sold everything, left the city, and moved to the north. My plan is to build a big-ass log home all by myself. And the kicker is, I have no experience whatsoever. This will be exciting. Huah! The winter has arrived to the north, and I've been working on my house for 6 months now. I have decided to build a log home all by myself, even though I haven't built anything in my whole life. I got the idea from a website, and in their way I can build without any training or experience. It took me almost a year to debark my 300 logs. In the summer we did the foundation and the subfloor. In the fall we erected the timber walls, and now it's time to do the second floor. On the second floor I would have 2 bedrooms, storage, bathroom and a living room. On the other side, the big room would be open to the ceiling with a huge panorama window.
Ja, som ni ser, jag har varit och hämtat byggnadsställning. Det kommer 2 gubbar. De ska sätta upp den i mitten på kåken här. Så vi kan komma åt och lägga takreglar.
During the building process, I had changed my mind regarding the construction of the house. First I wanted 2 small porches on either side, but it was too difficult to accomplish. So I decided to make the house like a simple rectangle, and then the roof would stick out and cover my 2 big porches. And I had seen that many log homes in the States had a log truss in the middle, and I thought it looked so cool, so I decided to do the same. It's not that easy to do log trusses. It has so many angles that must be cut in the right way, and then you have to consider where the rafters will rest. So it was a bit of a headache to get them done. But the really tricky part was to get them in place. Did we have more accidents? Yeah, another 500 kilo log fell and smashed the veranda. Luckily no one was near and no one was hurt, but we got a reminder that shit will happen.
Fan vad snyggt!
satan vad snyggt det blev.
And now it was time to do the ridge logs. We had 4 big logs who would carry the roof, and there was a few things to think of. First we had to measure and cut the logs so they would fit the post in the house. And then there was the tricky part to get them up. The problem was that the crane didn't reach, so we had to drag the logs and put them up by hand. And the snowstorm that arrived didn't help at all.
Där ja. Fått upp takåsarna. Ja, gick fan bättre än vad jag trodde. Alltså, jag trodde det skulle bli katastrof. Alltså, men det funkar. Lite sågande, lite passform, lite hit och dit. Och sen förhoppningsvis på med takreglar. Om det bara kunde sluta snöa någon gång.
We needed to secure the LOGTRUSS with crossover beams to support the whole construction. And here it was a bit hairy, because the angles on the beams was different on all sides, so it took us a while to get it done. It was now in the beginning of November and freezing cold. The winter had arrived a month too early, and I had 2 things to choose on. Either close down and do nothing for 6 months, or put in an extra gear and get the roof done as fast as possible. I chose the second one and hired the guys for 2 more weeks. Now we were 4 men that would work like crazy.
Det börjar växa tänkte jag säga, men takreglarna går med en jävla fart alltså. Jag trodde också skulle vara världens jobb, veckas jobb, men vad fan. Jag är ute på 3:e dagen. Då är vi på gång med att råsponta sjösidan. Det var fan mer jobb än vad jag trodde det skulle vara. Alltså. Även om du har spikpistol och skit, alltså det är jävla lutning på taket och man står som en jävla krokgubbe.
The roof took us 2 weeks to finish, and it was a really big job. The last paper felt was done in the middle of December, and it was in the nick of time. You should do your roof in the summertime, it's so much easier. But now it was done, and it was a real hallelujah moment, because now it could snow the whole winter long, and we could continue our work on the roof. A few days after New Year, it was time to close the gables on the second floor. Up here, the walls was done as a regular framework with studs, just like you do when you build a normal house. First you put on windproof paper, then spaced boarding and sheets of plywood, and for last wooden panels. I could have done it easy for me, just buying new stuff in a hardware store. But I wanted every little detail to be unique, even though it took hundreds of extra work hours. I couldn't cheat. Everything should be handcrafted, and so even the window panels. I got some big slabs over, and I thought they would look great framing the windows. When the windows was done, it was time to fix the wall. And the panels that I use is actually slabs coming from my 300 logs. Because I'm a cheap bastard and I thought I should use every little piece of wood I had over. And also I thought they had a charming and rustic look, and they really gave the house some character. When the panels was done, it was time for the barge board. The height of the roof was almost 50 centimeters, and we had to put 3 boards to cover it. And when this was done, it was just to tear down the scaffold and do it all over again on the other side. Now and then my neighbors comes by to inspect my progress. In the beginning they thought I was all talk and no action. But when they saw that I was a serious player, they all rooted for me and gave me a lot of positive feedback.
Räcker boken för också? Ja, för fan. Baker har jag alltid förbannelse. Jag är lite konfundersam. Jag ville ha baker på insidan likadant, va? Ja. Så är det baker här ute och så hela insidan där och hela... Att jag är lite osäker på om jag verkligen vill göra det.
I had bought a bunch of insulation for the floor, walls and roof. And when you do the roof insulation, you should do it in the summertime or when it's nice weather. It's so much easier to first do the inner roof and then fill it with insulation. But now the outer roof was already done, so we had to push it off from underneath. So if you do a cross section, it often starts with the inner roof, a vapor barrier, insulation 30 to 40 centimeters, air gap, outer roof, paper felt, and optional roofing material such as tin, tiles or shingles. The paper felt and the outer roof was already done, and now we had to do the air gap before we could install the insulation. And when the air gap was done, the real tough work started. Insulation. As I said, we had to push the insulation from underneath, and to prevent it falling down, we had to put up a wire in the middle and stretch it real hard so everything would stay in place.
Vad heter det? Har ju gått ett tag nu med husbygget. Och jag kan fortfarande inte fatta hur långt jag har kommit. 2 gubbar på det här huset. Det som har tagit tid är ju taket. Tak är ju ett jävla skitjobb alltså. Det är fortfarande inte slut. Vi håller ju på att isolera. Den ska in i taket på också. Och jag tycker liksom det känns som att vi har kommit halvvägs på något sätt. Jag tror det i alla fall. Jag vet inte hur mycket skit det är kvar att göra. Men jag tänker inte stressa någonting. Det får ta sin tid och så ska jag göra jävligt. Var noga med allting. Var noga med allt alltså.
It was time to fix the inner roof on the porch, and I had to sand a bunch of planks. All my timber had been sawed rough cut in an old farmer's sawmill, so every piece of wood had to be handled.
Det är det värsta med när du har eget sågat virke. Det är att du måste putsa allting. Det tar lika mycket tid som att spika upp skiten. Men samtidigt så sparar jag en jävla massa stålar och så fan lite extra jobb har väl ingen dött av.
On the porch we started with regular planks and with a gap of 15 centimeters. And over the gaps we nailed the rustic planks. It went pretty smooth, but under the log truss there was so many angles, so we had to measure, climb down, cut the planks and back up for nailing. It was a lot of running up and down, up and down. And on the gable at the second floor there was a lot of work too. Every slab had to be cut straight and then sanded and measured. One slab took me 30 minutes to fix, and I would have hundreds of them covering the upper walls.
Den här väggen har ju tagit snart 2 eller 3 dagar bara med bakpanelen. Det hade varit lite enklare om man bara gått och köpt panel på en jävla byggfirma. Då hade det bara smält upp, pang, 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 pang. Och man gjort det på en timme.
I had to sign and mark my life's work, so on the second floor in one of the bedrooms I wrote down a few words about my achievement. My name and date, that I built it myself and when I hoped it would be finished. And maybe later in the future when they want to change this panel, they can read and get some info about this dude, the log home cowboy.
Budskapet är nu instängt.
massa baker.
When you build a house, there's usually two things you're not allowed to do yourself: electricity and plumbing. Then you have to hire a professional so it will be correct done. I was in luck because my co-worker's brother was an electrician, and now it was time to do the cables for the roof lights.
Så här står vi.
Det är ett stort allrum här.
Stort allrum här. Ända öppet till nock.
And when the cables was done, it was time to do the ceiling. And the planks that we used was over 4 meters long and 30 centimeters wide, so they were big suckers. And the guy who invented the nail gun, well, he should absolutely get the Nobel Prize.
Så jävla glad i morse när jag vaknade. Nu är det sista biten på takfanskapet. Alltså. Taket har tagit 3 månaders jobb. Jag överdriver fan inte med takreglar och takås och råspont och pappen och fan hans moster. Alltså. Slipper jobba så här. Fy fan vad skönt.
And after when the roof was done, I needed to cover the upper wall with panels. And I figured I needed over 100 slabs on each side. Last week we also did the slabs on the porch. Here it was a bit easier because we didn't need to saw all 4 sides to fit. We had the plywood as cover, so it's just to nail them as they were. So now all the upper walls was covered with panels, both outside and inside. The winter days came and went, and even if you had roof over our heads, the coldness was brutal. You had to work hard to get warm. But even if it was painstaking labor, I always looked forward to a new workday and get shit done. However, I discovered that I had made a mistake with my logs. For protection, I used wood oil on my first 50 logs. But then I talked to a timberman, and he said he never oiled his logs. He explained that the pine tree had their own natural oil, and it was unnecessary to do this. I took his advice, but I didn't think of discoloring. My logs had been pounded from the weather elements and turned dark gray. So if I stained the logs now, they would get a dark brown color, and I didn't want that. So I decided to sand down every log, both inside and outside. 2 weeks of tedious work.
Kanel, mörkla, espresso, mylla. Vilka skumma namn de har. Kola. Mitt hus är gjort av kola.
I needed to do a color test so I could decide what kind of stain I would use. I knew I wanted a light brown color, and I thought it was crucial to find the right finish I could live with.
Nyansen som är ute efter med stråken, den sitter här.
I also did a couple of tries on regular planks too. I wanted to see how the ceiling and the inner walls would look like. And after a few tests I found my light brown color. And for details such as ridge, windows and barge boards, I will go with the dark brown. The nice thing with staining is that you can see through it and keep the natural look of the wood. And it would also protect the logs from the weather elements. So now it was time to stain the whole house, roof, walls and everything. Luckily I got some help from my neighbors.
Kom igen solen, värm upp Norrland, för fan. Har fryst nu i 6 månader. Vill jag ha lite vår, lite sommar.